Tonight we have a huge game against Newcastle and it's win or bust for us in the Champions League. If we don't win, we are out of the Champions League. If we do, there is a chance against Atletico that we could qualify for the knockout rounds, but it's going to be a tough game against the current European champions. Can we do it? Let's see. Roll that title. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 58 of the Liechtenstein Challenge here with Vaduz, and you find ourselves on the schedule page at the moment. I just wanted to show you the 4 fixtures that we had in between the Shakhtar game and tonight's match against Newcastle, and then I will go through how we did against Anderlecht in the last Champions League match. We started off with a 4-0 victory at home against Lugano, goals from Emil, Lazarus, Malone and Simon Beale, and then followed that up with a huge match at Luzern where we beat, I will say, our bogey team now because it's either them or Zurich, but it does appear to be Luzern after the last couple of seasons anyway, over Zurich. Maximiano, Malone, Fadil, and an own goal from Stankovic in the 85th minute there. And then we followed that up with a 5-1 victory at home to Servette. Malone, Lazarus, Maximiano with 2 goals, and Noah Lampert getting a goal in the 54th minute. Gatto getting a goal in the 73rd. Unfortunately, though, after a record, and you can see a number of wins and draws, we finally caved to Young Boys. 2-1 defeat away from home, and from the stats they fully deserved this. A really poor performance on our behalf. Zachary Atakame and Junior Ligue, who has been a thorn in my side ever since I've known him for Young Boys. Maximiano got a bit of a consolation, I say, or an equaliser in the 41st minute to make it 1-1, but we were 2-1 down at half time, and they thoroughly deserved this match. If it wasn't for Mencaroni, it would have probably been a much higher score for Young Boys. In terms of the Super League, there's not much of a change. We are 3 points behind Luzern, our first defeat of the season to Young Boys, with 14 wins, 6 draws and 1 defeat. Young Boys are just behind us on 4 points, so as I mentioned in the last video, they ain't out of this title race at all. I think they're going to be well in it. But I would say the remaining teams down from 4th to obviously 12th are well out of this title race. I think it's a 3-horse race. We are going to try our very best this season to finally break that curse of finishing 2nd place and finally finish 1st in the league. In terms of the game against Anderlecht, we took a really bad start of this match. A goal in the 24th minute for Anderlecht, but we recovered instantly with an assist from Malone and Maximiano, our regular Portuguese striker, getting a goal in the 25th minute. And as you can see from the stats, we probably deserved a victory out of this, but we just could not convert any chances. It's been a pain in the Champions League, but it is basically our problem is that we are creating a lot of chances, but we're just not taking them. And in the Champions League, you cannot do that. With regards to the league phase, we are currently 31st in the Champions League phase. 4 draws, 2 defeats, no wins as of yet. But despite the 0 wins, we are doing much better than we were 2 years ago, where I believe we finished bottom of the group, or we finished 2nd bottom with 8 defeats. So it's a massive improvement over the 2-year period that we've come close to getting a victory. Obviously the 2 remaining games are Newcastle, which is funnily enough in 23rd position, and Atletico, who have already qualified for the playoffs. So we need a win tonight, and then we need a win against Atletico. I'm not holding out for it, but you never know. Stranger things have happened in the Champions League, but we need to at least collect 6 points to have a relative chance of getting into that slot of the 22nd, 23rd, 24th place. So let's see if we can do it. This is our intake preview for the 2037 season, and I am royally annoyed by this. I'm disappointed with the head of youth development, Ian Taylor. I don't understand how we've got such a poor intake for next season, especially if you look at our facilities. We've got good youth recruitment, excellent academy coaching, good youth facilities. Maybe that's our letdown, I don't know. And excellent training facilities. So I don't know why we've got such a poor intake, but this has made me think about Ian Taylor's position as head of youth development, and he's been here for 10 seasons now, and I think maybe it's the time to let him go next year. But we will see. And just one more thing before the Newcastle match this evening. Probably a bit of a surprise to you, but Marlon Teitman has finally left the club. He wasn't happy this season, and I can kind of understand why. He wasn't getting many games as usual. So far at the moment, I mean, on 14 appearances, 3 goals, 4 assists. It's been his best season for Vaduz, but he decided that he didn't want to take Liechtenstein nationality last year, I believe, or 2 seasons ago. And I just felt like now is the time to let him go. Utrecht came in with a decent offer. His value's already shot up, which is not a surprise. He's a good player, but I just felt the time was right to move him on, and I believe I've got a replacement lined up already for him. And that replacement may be Sebastian Neistad, who plays for Stabæk in Norway. I have had my eyes on this young man for quite some time. The only problem is he doesn't know the language, and he's not really adaptable to working in another country. But for 20 years old, and for the teams that have been after him, the likes of Arsenal, Inter, Leipzig, Juventus, I think had a bid for him, and it was rejected because they thought they could get more money. I think he's almost there in terms of potential. We just need to get him to that next level, and the fact that he's not capped by Norway is also a bonus. Having said that, though, I find it really unlikely that if he does improve, that he's not going to get capped by Norway. So, one to look out for. If he doesn't come in, we have other alternatives in place. This is the lineup we are going to go with against my beloved Newcastle. I've decided to change it up a little bit. I'm just going to show you the tactics screen for a bit. I went with what I used to do earlier in the Liechtenstein Challenge with Vaduz, with a 3 at the back. I just feel that the 4-3-3 hasn't been working in Europe compared to how we're doing in the Swiss Super League. And I just fancied a little bit of a change to see how we do against this ridiculously good Newcastle team. In terms of the lineup, it's pretty straightforward. Menkaroni, Lazarus, Kovacevic, Kaminski, Javier, Traore, Alejandro Fadil has come in because he's now been able to be registered. Simon Beale, Paulo, and Maximiano because Melone and Emili, who's now registered for the Champions League, funnily enough, didn't play particularly well against Young Boys. And it's Maximiano up front. In terms of the ones that are missing out, it's Esposito and the remaining players, Muller, Defov, and Pastor are already injured. So I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work, we will revert back to the 4-3-3. But I just wanted to try something different, especially the fact that we are away from home as well. I'm going to get into the opposition instructions, and I will see you at St. James's Park. Here we are at my beloved St. James's Park. Looks like a sellout. Newcastle going with a 4-2-4. We've gone with the 3 at the back, 3-4-3, for a change to see how this does. I feel like this could be potentially another 4-0 job like Real Madrid, so let's see how we get on, and hopefully we do one over one of the best teams in the competition and personally my favourite team in the world. Free kick to Newcastle here in the 8th minute. Doesn't really do anything. Nice to see our away following seems to have increased going into the Champions League. Probably more than we get at Vaduz. But we've done okay for the first 12 minutes with the 3 at the back. Having said that, though, can't underestimate Newcastle, and that is a great save from Menkaroni. Another chance for Newcastle here. I think we potentially could be losing that battle in the middle of the park, so I need to be a bit cautious about if we maybe should go for 2 strikers up front and then maybe 3 in midfield, which is what I'm instantly thinking about already. Just the way they're all getting through our midfield, and I think I'm going to try that. I think the 3 at the back's working okay so far, but I just think maybe Marcus Polo here. Maximiano goes a little bit out to the left, and then we put Beal there. Paolo can be the advanced playmaker, which I know is not ideal for him. But I think he's just going to struggle on the wing, and they're going to be so much better on the wings with the fullbacks that they've got. I think potentially we could be really good down the middle. Anyway, it's a free kick in Newcastle. Clear it okay. Header. Simons. I think that might be offside. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not. Yeah, onside. Santos plays the ball in here. Yeah, he's just onside. Lazarus keeps him on, unfortunately. I think we're going to also go a little bit narrow as well and just see if that does anything. I mean, we have nothing to lose in this game. We could go for it, I suppose. But I think just the cautious mentality. We will see. I might change it up a little bit to balanced. Although I suspect that might produce a little bit of us being poor at the back. Javier's on a yellow card, which I'm a little bit concerned about. That means he's not going to play in the next game. I'm also going to get stuck in. I'm just going to push us up a little bit higher to see if that does anything. Because I feel like against these big teams, if we're just going to sit back like this, then there's not much of a point. El Shazi, Simone's 20th goal of the season already. I do need to show you this guy because he is crazy. He is really good. And they've signed him from Vitoria Guimares. It's just, that's possibly one of the best new gens I've ever seen on the game. Just ridiculous how good he is. We're just going to continue with a low block, and I'm just going to probably give some players a chance that might not have had a chance with us in the Champions League from the bench. Because I don't want to risk her. Simoes for the hat-trick. This is the quality, though, that we need to get to in the next couple of seasons with regards to the Champions League. Otherwise, we're never going to improve. It's a great ball in. Menkaroni could do a little bit better, I think, but I think maybe at half time we just revert to the 4-3-3 maybe and just see how we get on. It's just annoying we don't seem to compete with these big teams. Fucking hell, Roger Smith. They've got 3 or 4 players here in Newcastle where they're just out of this world. Smith is offside though. But yeah, we're not having a good game here, and I think maybe a return to the 4-3-3 might help a little bit in the second half, but we're not going to qualify for the remaining stages of the game. I think we're going to see ourselves out. I've just gone ahead and made 5 changes just to see how we do in the second half. So we've brought on Campana, Freund, Lampert, Maloney, and Doria, and just see how we do. We've gone back to the 4-3-3. I've took off the likes of Javier, Lazarus, Beal, Alejandro, Maximiano, just to see if that makes a difference. I don't think it will. Gone back to the 4-3-3, which you can't see because of my ugly head. But yeah, I did want to show the Newcastle game because it is a team that is important to me. So despite the defeat, it's not the end of the world here. I think we've done remarkably well to come 32nd. Potentially, we could finish a little bit higher, but we'll see how Atletico do. And maybe we might have a chance here. Freund. Marcus Paulo. Fortunately, we've lost the ball, and Doria is now injured. Nanweri. I think he's offside, but it looks like he's on, which is annoying. I thought it might be a 4-0 job. But it is what it is. But yeah, I think second season in the Champions League, it shows the level that we need to get to compared to the Conference League. I mean, Liverpool showed with that in the final last season. Marcus Polo here. He's got a consolation in St James's Park. Can we get a instant comeback here? I doubt it, but I will cling on to it as much as I can. At least we scored a goal against Newcastle, unlike Real Madrid. Free kick to Vaduz here, Marcus Paulo. Can you do anything? 75 minutes gone. Traore. See what I mean, though, about that type of chance in the Conference League? I think you can get away with that. In the Champions League, you can't. We can't be missing those chances. But the game today against Newcastle hasn't cost for the match. It's the Shakhtar game. It's the Anderlecht game. It's the Ajax game. It's the Besiktas game. It's those 4 matches. Technically the Bayern game, I would say, as well, that have cost us getting through because the amount of draws and the defeats. I mean, you just have to make certain that you win the matches, but unfortunately we're playing against Europe's best. But I don't think we're anywhere near competing, but in the next 2 seasons I'd like to have a team where we're getting past this sort of knockout phase and we get into the business end. Yeah, it's 4-1 to Newcastle in the end. Newcastle should be alright. I think a draw in their last game, but as you can see, it looks like we're going to miss out, but there are some big teams around us that potentially could miss out. I mean, the likes of Juventus, Milan, Shakhtar and Anderlecht aren't guaranteed. Those teams we've got draws against were Porto and Braga. I mean, is there any surprises? Olympiacos got into the top 8. I was going to say top 7 there. Anybody else? Rennes maybe? Besiktas? So it's interesting. As discussed in the last episode, folks, what I think I'm going to do now is we'll do these next 2 games off YouTube. We'll do the remainder of the season, see how we are, and then we will get to, I think, the final day of the season with regards to the final episode. But we will be in the Conference League so long as we win the Liechtenstein Cup, which shouldn't be a problem, but you know what I'm like with regards to that competition. In the first season, we didn't even make it to the final, so you have to take it somewhat serious with regards to the Liechtenstein Cup. But yeah, we will focus on trying to win another Conference League. As long as we get to a final like we did last season, we should get into the Champions League phase. And it's just a case of next season trying to build a team that can obviously win the Conference League, but also trying to build a team that is going to be able to potentially get through to a knockout stage of the Champions League phase, because we've proved now that we can compete with the teams maybe below the likes of Newcastle, Real Madrid. I mean, it looks at the likes of Bayern, Shakhtar, Anderlecht, Besiktas, and Ajax. We've been able to compete with those. So it's just about trying to get that next stage. Obviously, the ultimate goal is to win the Champions League with Vaduz, and I'm going to keep doing that until FM26 comes out. Who knows, we might do it even after FM26 has come out, but we'll see. But yeah, plan is as usual, we'll finish the season. I'll show you how we finished in the Champions League phase as well. And hopefully this season, we might finish first. Hope you enjoyed the episode today. If you have done, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I will see you for the end of Season 14. Take it easy, stay safe. Bye, everybody.